Welcome back to Loose Framing Podcast. Happy Women's History Month. I'm your host, Birdie Doyle. Joining me today,
Sam Allen.
Sam Allen, a woman. And a big thank you to Blind Tiger Coffee Roasters for sponsoring Loose Framing Podcast. Sam, who do we have on as our guest today?
Chelsea Butz. She is a multi-talented production worker below the line. She's most well known to me as a UPM. She's been working on a lot of the Lifetime films. She also talks about the commercials she works on. It's a very exciting episode.
Should be good. Yes. All right. Well, I say we let it speak for ourselves and we just get right into it.
Yes.
All right. Stay tuned for Chelsea Butz. Welcome back. Today we have a female below-the-line multi-role crew member from Sarasota, kind of Tampa Bay local. Today we have on Chelsea Butz.
Hey,
How
so
you
happy
doing?
to be here.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
You're
I'm
welcome.
stoked to be here.
I'm glad. So it is March. This is coming out at the end of March, so just pretend.
Yeah.
And it is Women's History Month. So we're going to talk about being a crew member in Tampa Bay, Florida. We're going to talk about being a woman in film. We're going to talk about being a woman and anything else, who knows. But let's start with some background. Have you always lived in Florida? Where are you from originally?
I have always lived in Florida. I am actually from Sarasota, so born and raised, and then I still currently live there because it's just hard to leave, you know? And then I'm so used to making the drive to Tampa Bay because there's not a lot of film in Sarasota, but that's all right, you know, we do what we have to do.
It's like so weird because 10 years ago, it looked so different, like even Tampa's film scene, that it's like, who's to say what's going to happen?
Yeah, because I feel like St. Petersburg, too, had a little bit going on for a little while there.
Yeah, it's doing like an interesting thing, but we always work directly with Pinellas, so it's like kind of a lumped in film scene, but yeah. So you come up to Tampa Bay a lot. What is your main reason for coming up to Tampa Bay? I know you've been a UPM, a producer, a photographer.
Yep.
What's your, like, if you had a main thing, what would you say that is?
Really just, I want to say, like, the TV movies, they're happening up here. And so those I do the UPM stuff on. And then in, like, independent films, I normally work as a second AD.
Second AD.
Yes.
Okay, so recently we've been trying to give our audience some more context of the below-the-line crew members and the crew roles that just a regular film lover wouldn't really know about.
Right.
So can you give us an idea of what a UPM does?
A UPM is the unit production manager. So they kind of, I don't want to say run the show because there's a lot of people that run the show, but they definitely are more like, if it's getting done, the UPM probably had a hand in it. They got it done, you know, like whether it's like permits or just making sure everything's like delegated and every task is getting done. Like nothing, I don't know, no stone unturned. You know, everything
Nothing's
is just
getting
like,
past you.
Nothing's getting passed.
So it feels very much like office administrator.
Very much
equivalent.
office. Yeah, it was funny because like when I started in film, I'm like, oh, film, creativity. And then I ended up working in the office mostly. But, you know, that's just the path that happened.
Does it fit, though, for you? Like, are you type A? Do you like the...
No, I'm not. I'm like type B. Like, if I have a desk, it'll have like 19 piles of papers on it and things like that. Everyone's like, it's because you're organized. I'm like, no, I'm not. Or maybe I channel all my organization into
That's
film.
the thing. I feel like it's the organized chaos because I feel very, like, Sam and I have a joke that, like, the biggest thing that we do is spreadsheets. We love spreadsheets and color coding spreadsheets.
Yep.
But then, I mean, if you look at my apartment, a mess. And so it's like you have to, I think it's like not just one or the other.
Yes. My car has so much stuff in it because I'm always like the person that has the things.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, don't worry. I have a printer.
Oh my God, literally. I've had like all of my shoes in my car forever.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was UPM. What about second AD?
Second AD, that is more like talent coordination. You work directly under the first AD. So they're the ones like arranging the schedule for filming, things like that. And then you're kind of making sure that actually the word gets out to the crew members of like what's happening. Same for talent, same for like organizing when talent needs to fly in, stuff like that. It kind of almost goes hand in hand with like a production coordinator, but they also second ADs make the call sheet and things like that as well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
See, that's where the type A a little bit comes
A little
in.
bit, yeah. My spreadsheets.
Yeah, literally. Which of the two do you do more of, do you think?
I started doing a second AD, like, originally in my career, and I did that for maybe, like, 2 years, and then just recently I've done UPM. Like, this whole last year was just UPM jobs. I don't think I worked a second AD job,
So I went through your IMDb yesterday.
Oh, okay.
And I got to see all the stuff you worked on. And those TV movies, they're like our bread and butter down here, especially right now.
Yeah.
Between Lifetime and Hallmark.
Yeah.
We've been knocking them out. But then I also saw What We Hide and some of our bigger indie features. Do you have any... So wait, with the bigger indie features, What We Hide, and then I saw... is Roommate Regret Lifetime also?
That was Lifetime.
Yeah. But anyway, The School Duel. Do you have a different role kind of based on the type of movie, or is it kind of whatever they ask you to do?
For sure. There was one producer here doing the Lifetime movies, and he was like, this is kind of like a training ground for like bigger sets. So he's like, use this, try and work in roles that maybe you wouldn't originally work in, or like work in on like bigger movies.
Sure.
And just kind of like use it as like a learning experience. So I think the Lifetime ones, it almost feels like you're in school to like learn how to do the role actually. So
it's like, what do the doctors do? A residency?
Yes.
Like it feels like a residency?
For real. Because I was like, on the bigger movies, I work as a second AD, and I'm just like still kind of learning and watching in that role. But like, I wouldn't, not that I would never be a UPM on those, but like that's like next level.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Was it Cameron Brumbelow?
Yes, I love Cameron.
We do too. He was actually our 50th episode
love that.
of Loose Framing Podcast, so check that out. He was saying the same thing though. He was saying that the Lifetimes and the Hallmarks have that exact quality where they make it easy for new filmmakers to come in and learn the job. So when did you start getting into working on sets?
Ooh, I got started in 2021. I quite literally accidentally got into it. I was a photographer, and I was trying so hard to get into the film industry. Like, I was cold calling, cold DMing, like every single person I could find. And I was doing an engagement shoot one day, and I look across the field, and there's like an old mansion, and there's like box trucks and like people milling around, and I go, I think that's
my
a movie
chance.
set. Yeah. And so I literally like told my couple, I'm like, I have to go.
I'll send you these later.
We'll finish the shoot later. I walk up on set and I'm like, can I get a job? And the first people I talked to were like camera department or like random people. Like, I didn't know who's who on a set, and they're all like, what is this like random person doing here? Yeah. And I found the production coordinator, and she's like, yeah, actually, can you start on Monday? And I was like, oh my God. And then so that's how I actually got started. It was just pure chance, but it was so good.
I was gonna ask because it can be so hard to like get your foot in the door.
So hard. Yeah. Because like it's all about who you know. It's so tough.
Literally. And if you don't know Cameron.
If you don't know,
you don't know anybody.
For real, people are like, who should I talk to? I'm like, if you already know Cameron, you kind of already know like
Cameron
everyone here.
And Krista Barini would be my two.
Yes, love Krista. Yeah. But yeah, a school duel. That was, I don't know. I feel like that was like maybe like the biggest film I worked on at the time, because it was the first one that involved like squibs and like stunts and so many weapons.
Yeah, moving pieces that you have to like.
So many also. There were so many days where we had like 13 gunmen, and they were all under the age of 17, and I'm like their babysitter also as the second AD.
So interesting.
And I'm like their mom. They're like asking me like, can we play basketball? And I'm like, no, like I need you to stay in your costume. It's just
that's so interesting. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
I think I would have thought like younger than a certain age, but like 16, that's like
they're like
it's so funky.
Yeah, they're like ready to do things. They're like their parents left them there. Like I'm just their sole person that they're coming up to. They're like, can I get a snack? And I'm like, I guess.
Well, you're young too, so that's like a weird dynamic sometimes.
It is. Yeah, because they're like treating me like their teacher almost, and I'm like, I don't know, just sit there and read something.
You're like, please, you're gonna get dirty, and then the costumes are gonna be bad.
Boy. Yeah.
So Land Remember, that's coming up, but between School Duel, What We Hide, those are kind of more dramatic. I mean, very much more dramatic. What's the difference for you as far as like your work and your day by day when you're working on like a What We Hide versus a Murder at the Stables?
That's a great question.
Really quick, did you work on Murder at the Stables?
Yes.
An Unstable Marriage, I think is what they changed it to.
I saw that and I was like, ooh, okay.
My favorite was Bad Tenant, because I thought Bad Tenant was much better.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
We'll go through the posters tomorrow.
Oh boy. Yeah.
But is there like a big difference? Like, do you show up to set with like I know what I'm doing, it's going to be like a lighthearted kind of script, or is it kind of the same where you're locked in, focused?
I feel
Does
like,
it change?
honestly, no matter, especially working like in the office, like no matter what the script involves, like our job's kind of the same. Like you're just making sure that everything is getting done, and it's just different requirements for different jobs. Like if it's a dramatic movie, it's finding the ambulance. If it's a happy movie, it's, making sure it looks like Christmas Town when it's,
Valentine's Town.
Valentine's
That
Town.
was another one that I saw.
I was in that one.
Were you really?
Yeah, I was like, because the guy, okay, so the main girl is like a love counselor or whatever, and she's supposed to be like dating this guy, and it turns out he was dating someone else, and they were just like faking their relationship. So I was the someone else he was caught dating.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I'm in it very briefly, but we're like fake kissing for like a picture.
Aww.
Yeah, I'm the town scandal.
The town scandal. That one made me laugh so hard because I kept going Valentine's Town, Dunedin, Florida. And it was like... So you've worked on a lot of Tampa movies, but you've also shot behind the scenes for some of those Tampa movies?
Yeah, so I feel like, honestly, that's one of the things about being in film is kind of being, like, really multifaceted. So I also shoot, like, behind the scenes or, like, the gallery, like, poster pictures. Because, honestly, I feel like that's not the reason I get hired, but sometimes it's like, oh, well, she can also do this. Like, they don't pay me any extra, you know? It's like, oh, she can do these things. So it adds to the resume of,
there you go.
What's helpful on set.
Is that frustrating, or is it kind of like, it works for me?
It works for me, honestly. It can be a little frustrating when it's like they start having demands and I'm like, listen, like I'm just trying to help out. But it's good.
Well, so it's interesting because it is Women's Month. So to pivot into that a little bit, we kind of we're expected to be, as women, multifaceted with a lot of things. So how do you navigate working in an administrative type role on set as a woman? Like knowing that you have to be multifaceted or are expected to be multifaceted.
Yeah, I think it's definitely like people expect a lot of you from like being a woman. Like you're just expected to either know how to do everything or be able to like stretch yourself thin in order to get everything done. Like people do have expectations on you, and I think just telling people no, or like letting people know your boundary of like, hey, I can do this, but only for this amount of time, or for like,
I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
I think putting your foot down and saying like, that's actually not my job.
Yeah.
And I can help you find somebody whose job it actually is. So do you think that any part of that is also like compounded on by being a young woman?
People are like, oh, you're young and will do what I tell you to do also, because you're trying to make a good impression. So I don't know, that kind of ties into it a little bit, but I feel like I haven't been necessarily where I'm like, I'm being used or abused by these people. Like normally everyone's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's good. Well, luckily, so that comes up a lot, especially on the podcast, that our crew base has this like reputation of being really high quality and making really high quality stuff, but then also being really laid back and having like an island time kind of vibe about it, which people that come and shoot here with our local crews from out of town often remark on, because they're like, oh my God, that wasn't stressful, but we still got everything done as well as it would have been done anywhere else. So I feel like that's something that's like it might be special to our area, it might not be, but like I think that's something that's changing moving forward too, is that maybe it's the new technology or whatever it might be, but it's like, this doesn't have to be like a 12-hour hectic thing anymore. It can be like, we can get it done either way. Have you noticed like change in the time that you've been working? It's been 5 years now?
Yeah.
5-year anniversary of working.
It's funny to look back at the beginning because I'm like, I had no idea what was going on, like now that I'm like in the higher up roles, I'm like, I feel like I know less than I felt like I knew back then,
Literally.
Yeah.
Confident,
yeah.
I worked on one set for one day as an intern when I was at UT, and I had a cold and I was sniffling the whole time, and I was like in my own, world scrubbing glue off a water bottle, and eventually I look up and everyone's staring at me and they were like, you've been sniffling through every take. And I was, oh my God. And now when we do set visits, looking back, I'm like, oh my God, who let her on that set? Like, who was that?
That's how I think too with like the production coordinator that let me on my first set. I'm like, God bless her,
She just walked right on.
I just walked right on. I could have been terrible.
That's how Tyler hired me as an intern.
Yeah.
It was around COVID, and he just goes, yeah, show up Monday. I was like, hold on, what?
Honestly, okay, because you're talking about being a young woman in film, but honestly, I feel like that's the perk of being young, is it's kind of cute when you're like messing up. Like, it's okay. Once you get a little older, it gets less cute.
Well, that always stressed me out because it got to a point where I was like still waiting tables, and I was like, oh my God, I'm getting too old to make mistakes, and if I don't start learning soon. Like, I'm going to be making, like, mistakes way too old. But, I mean, ultimately, we've had a lot of filmmakers who have started later on in their life. Cameron being a perfect example.
Yeah.
Where he's been a lawyer for 10, 20 years or however. And, and then he also kind of, in a way, walked on, which I think COVID kind of worked to his advantage in that sense. Have you noticed in the last 5 years an uptick in, like, the volume of productions, or has it kind of stayed?
I've noticed an uptick in how much I'm working, but I'm also like, there could have been those productions happening, and I just didn't know about them also. Because, like, the amount of connections you make leads to a lot more jobs. So it's kind of, you know.
Have a lot of your connections been fellow women on set?
Honestly, yeah. I would say my first second AD job was also, it was through a Facebook, like, ad, and this was my second job ever on set. The first one was the one I walked on, and then the second one is this lady graciously being like, yeah, you can be my second AD.
Sure.
Yeah, and so that was also a huge learning curve. Like, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
So, and most, like, the best, like, producers, like you said, like Krista. I love Melissa. I don't know if you know Melissa.
McNerney.
Yes. So just those women are just, they pour into the young women in the community, and it's so great.
Well, we had Monique McLaughlin on in
Love
December.
Mo.
A lot of what she talked about was makeup, which good because it's so interesting. But then the other, like, 50% of what she talked about was community engagement, working with Dunedin International Film Festival, and, like, being a mentor for the younger people, especially in women in film.
Mo's great at that. Mo is always just like,
she's always
I don't know, she's everywhere. Yeah,
I know. She feels like someone, you know, that group of people where, like, they have 48 hours in every day. She feels like that to me.
She does.
Where I'm like, how are you doing
we do
all
not
of
have the same 24 hours. No. She's
literally
every post she does, I'm like, how are you in a whole different state right now? Like, what are we supposed to be working on this project tomorrow? Yeah.
And she came in after doing, like, a whole long set or shoot somewhere, I think on the West Coast, and then immediately right into, like, diff stuff, and it was,
I know, everywhere
immediately.
Yeah.
But off of that, and Dunedin International Film Festival, because you've worked on so many things, have you had the experience of seeing your stuff on festival screens?
I have. Yes, it's been so fun. They're in Sarasota, Spider and Jesse, or it's now What We Hide. Yeah, I will always call it Spider and Jesse.
That tenant's mine.
Yeah.
I can't call it roommate regret.
I know. So yeah, What We Hide showed in the Sarasota and Burns Court, which was really fun to see because then, like, all my friends and family that live down there could go see it also. And then I got to speak on the little panel. It was literally just me and one other person, but it was fun. And then we also went and saw, same for What We Hide. That one hit hard because we were all waiting. It came out, like, so long after we filmed it.
It took a while.
Yeah, so me and another girl that worked on it, we went all the way to California to Santa Barbara to watch it.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes, so that was great. So I loved the little film circuit of just going to premieres and, you know.
Have you done a lot of short films, or has it been mostly features?
Mostly features. I think I've done a couple short films, but it's always by, like, I don't want to say it's like favors, but it's normally like those are like the fun projects. Like,
the passion projects.
Yeah, the passion projects. So, but I love them.
Yeah. Curry Scent, I saw Mala coming up on IMDb. Has that already been shot? I can't remember what Cameron said.
Mala shot. We did that last January, so not 2026, but 2025. I'm trying to think. Yeah, the years
I thought it was 2024.
Yeah, honestly.
Well, so have you been able to work with, like, female-led productions like Mala and Curry Scent?
Yeah. That because the executive producer is also female. So, like, I want to say she hand-selected a lot of the crew going into it. Like, our art department head is female, and like the producer's female. I feel like the only person that wasn't female, like, in the head was Cameron, and then the first AD. So yeah.
Cameron's a girl dad, so
Cameron's
that works.
Cameron's one of the girls. You can't have a set without Cameron.
No, truly. And Tampa, we've been doing so well with the Lifetimes and the Hallmarks, but we also do an insane number of commercials every year because it's evergreen and always sunny, even when it's cold. I mean, cold.
I love commercials.
Yeah, have you worked on a lot of commercials?
Yeah, normally I work as a production assistant though, because they already have, like, their crew a lot of the time. But they're so fun. Like, the energy is always just high. Normally the hours are a little less. It's just like great vibes all around.
Well, so do you have any memorable commercial shoots that you felt like, ooh, I'm really or even features that you're like, I'm really starting to get this. Like, I feel like I'm in my groove.
Yeah. I feel like one of the first commercials where I was a second AD on was really fun, and it was for Culver's.
Oh.
And that one I was like, because second AD on a commercial is so different than second AD on a feature. So that was, like, super fun to actually see kind of the same role, but in, like, an entirely different element. So that was definitely it was a Spanish commercial too, which makes it even
Oh,
funnier. Like,
that's-
I had no idea what was going on, but it was a lot
Like,
of fun.
I hope it was for something cool.
So great.
I think it was for whatever.
Yeah.
So have you seen like a different, like, does your job change as far as like the creativity when you're doing a commercial where they're bringing in people that it's like already set, we just need the people to actually film it, versus these features that film here?
I think so, yeah, because the features that film locally here, that is like just the local crew. It's like you can offer more like input, more perspective. Like they actually want that from like the locals. Commercials, they're like from out of town. They're coming. They're just gonna shoot the things. You know,
In and out.
And normally the commercials have like more celebrities on it too, which can be fun. Like yeah. So
we always have like the most random things that'll come out. And Tyler and Hillary, who does our permit, will go, oh, yeah, that happened. Like, we had a Chase commercial with Kevin Hart that I don't know about Sam, but I, in marketing, had no idea was happening until like day up, right? And so it's always interesting because they have like randomly
a lot of
people
sports teams too and stuff. And I'm like, I'm so not into sports, which kind of works for my job because like I have to deal with actors and talent. So like, I'm like,
you're like, I'm biased with the sports.
I'm so, I'm like, it'll be like this super famous person and they're like, I don't know where my shoes are. And I'm just like, boy, figure it out. Like, I'm not like stressed out about
like
who this person is.
That my boyfriend just did a commercial with Brandon Hagel on the Butz. And
I
I went, Hagel? And he goes, who's that? I was like, he's cool. He's been around as long as I've been here.
Me. Or people would be like, who was it? And I'm like, I can't remember their name. Like, I don't know.
Oh my
like,
God, I know.
Yeah.
John Travolta, when he came to GIF and I got a picture, I sent the picture home to my mom and she was like, that's so random. I was like, yeah, it is. And also like, and then the only other person was Tim Blake Nelson, mom from Holes.
Oh, no way.
The little guy with the sunscreen. He was here. And so I was like, my collection of the celebrities I've met that have come to Tampa is so bizarre.
It's funny because someone asked me the other day, like, oh, have you ever met any celebrities? And for some reason, I wasn't even thinking about that I work in film. I'm like, no. Because I was thinking about like in the wild.
Like, no, I've never done a VIP meet and greet.
Although I was at a coffee shop the other day and John Cena walked in. And I was like, I've worked with him a couple times now. And I was like, I was like, I hope he doesn't look at me and be like, yeah.
We went on a set visit when he did a Candy Crush commercial. And he walked by us and I was like, oh my God,
he does the funniest stuff.
He pulled up in like his little car. He was like so great. His personality was huge. We gave him like a little gift, whatever, and then that was that. But he's like always reliable.
Yeah,
I've heard when he's here.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's great. He lives here. Yeah, so it's like he's one of those people that's like it makes sense to like see him around.
Well, we should probably talk more about being women.
Yes, true.
I guess.
It is Women's Month.
Do you have any advice that you feel like would be specifically helpful for people trying to get into working on set as a woman?
I would say, I feel like a lot of times as women, we can be like competitive.
With each other?
With each other, yeah. And I think that's actually not the angle you should try and take. Like, that's never going to get you ahead. There was one person in particular that I think me and her kind of started in the industry at the same time, and we were going for the exact same jobs.
Yeah.
So it was like we had a very clear path to becoming enemies, and we chose to be friends instead. I feel like we like actually had to really make that decision because at first we did not like each other.
It can be tough. Yeah. It like feels like immediately that's my competition, even though like, well, but everybody is.
Right.
Like, it's not just
honestly,
her.
Yeah. So, and we decided to become friends, and then through that, we actually got each other more work. Like, you know, you get a lot more jobs that way than like fighting for jobs. So, you know, community over competition. That's what I gotta say.
Well, and especially for this industry, it's all favors.
Yeah.
And it's only gonna work if you like work the system.
Yeah. Which, I mean, so I have seen people play dirty on set, you know, because they're all trying to get jobs and things, and I'm like, that's not how I wanted this to be, you know? Like, yeah.
Well, and especially like this area, because like we were saying, it was like, it's low stress with video production, that it does lean more like passion project-y stuff. And everyone's so like nice and laid back that I see a lot of like friend groups that kind of form, right? Like you've got your, I mean, I probably shouldn't name names in case they're not friends, but like you've got, you know, your Lifetime buddies that I'm always like seeing together. And then you've got, you know, like my boyfriend and his buddies made a film and like they pocket off like that or whatever. But it doesn't seem like there's any place for weird competition here.
There's not. Yeah. I mean, there definitely could be, but I think it's like most people choose to just be friends instead of trying to fight each other, you know, and I think it's really good.
Well, it seems like also part of how it's set up here is that we kind of need to help each other out. Like we don't have the statewide incentive, so we need to make it work.
No, it's very true.
Have you worked in like more than just Hillsborough and Pinellas County in Florida? Have you worked all around or kind of kept it local?
I've done some, like, commercials, in, like, Fort Myers or, like, Naples area, so, like, that's, like, a 2-hour drive south.
Mhm.
And then I've done a little bit in, like, Orlando and a couple jobs in Miami. I worked the F1 races in Miami, so that was really
Nifty.
fun, yeah. So, I got offered The Bachelorette, but for some reason, I was like, "I just don't wanna go to Miami." I know I should have done it, but
I
what
mean,
are you gonna do?
fair.
Yeah.
Well, there's stuff. I saw Siesta Key back in the
Siesta Key,
day.
back in the day, that was also I started as a PA and I got, moved up to associate producer, which was not even close to being a producer
Sure.
on reality TV. I was mostly typing what they would say and making, like, a script kind of like, what happened.
Interesting, a little transcript.
It was a very
Huh.
Mhm.
Interesting. Have you worked on reality past that?
A lot of the reality crew had been in reality for a while when I worked on that, and they
Mhm.
were like, "If you wanna work in films, you should not keep working in reality,"
It's kinda
basically.
one or the other.
Yeah, they were like, film or, like, reality TV will take people who worked in film, but film people have a harder time taking people who worked in reality because
Yeah.
of the different schedules and, like, the different mindset of production.
Yeah.
So I worked Siesta Key, and I was like, "I'm gonna step back now from reality instead of keep going," so
Have you done any, like, TV series, docuseries?
A Land Remembered, I think, is gonna be the first,
Right.
like, TV show,
That's
like,
exciting.
episodic thing,
Mhm.
'cause other than that, it's been, like, episodes of reality TV,
Yeah.
and that's not the same as, like, a narrative storyline,
Yeah.
you know, throughout episodes, so I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Has there between, like, commercials, features, your one reality show, has there been any one type of production where you felt like women were really running the set, or has it been similar across the board?
I feel like the reality Siesta Key, when I did work on Siesta Key, there was a lot of women in the office, but I'm
Mhm.
almost like, that kind of makes sense, like,
Sure.
women love reality
Yeah.
TV, like, this just makes sense that women
Well, I
are
feel
running
it's,
the
like,
show.
focused on women.
Yeah.
So it's
It was. That one made a lot of sense for, like, women to be, like, running the show. I do feel like I have seen a lot more diversity happen recently than there has been. There's
Mhm.
been a lot more, like, women being directors and
Mhm.
producers, which is great to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you part of Women in Film and Television here in Florida?
I am, yeah.
Yeah. They've been doing a lot more recently, and they're doing, like, a shorts block at GIF this year to highlight some more female filmmakers. Have you ever actually, on that note, made something or wanted to make something that was, like, yours from production, direction?
I've thought about it. I don't consider myself a writer. I'm, like, an idea maker,
Sure.
and then there's also a documentary that I've been, like, slowly working on. I'm excited for that, but it has nothing to do with, like, women in
Anything?
Tampa Bay, yes.
Well, if you'd like to promote it, you're welcome to. If not, I can come up with another question real quick and we can keep moving.
Let's go. Keep moving. I would like to promote it if it was anywhere near, like, being
There you
promotable.
go.
Yeah.
Has there ever been anything that you've felt like, you know, this isn't really working out for me, but, like, you have to power through, or has it been, like, overall easy to get on board?
I feel like it's definitely a mental space because you can get into that mindset of, like, I'm kind of done with this, you know, like,
Yeah.
the long hours, the whatever, like,
Mhm.
it can really start to get to you, and I think there's definitely been some projects or, like, the back-to-back Lifetime films where I'm
Sure.
like, "Okay."
little burnt out, yeah.
Especially when it's like, I could go for a commercial right now.
A quick, fast, different thing.
Something a little different.
A little less
Yeah.
waiting around, yeah.
I feel like that's why we like film too, is it's like the variety of it all.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, I work this job for 3 days and then I have 3 days off and then I work
Mhm.
this job for 3 weeks and then, you know.
Is there anything that filmed here, like, genre-wise or plot-wise that you wished you had worked on?
Ooh, that's tough that I wish I had worked on.
I'll say this. I moved here in 2016,
Mhm.
and my friend in college, his brother had worked on The Infiltrator. And we were freshman baby film majors,
Yeah.
and I thought that was my eyes were stars.
Yeah.
I was like, "Your brother? Who's your brother?"
There's times I'll find out that, like, something filmed here and I'm like, I'm offended.
Oh,
like,
for real?
Even though it'll be, like, years before I got into the industry, like Edward Scissorhands. I'm like, what do you
I
mean
was
I
gonna
couldn't
bring
have
that
filmed on
up.
that?
I
I
was-
wanted to work on that.
Tian was in here yesterday,
Uh-huh.
which for our audience was our February episode, so check our last month episode. She was talking about how when she was growing up in China,
Mhm.
Tim Burton was her favorite. We have a poster room in our office that has all the posters of all the movies made here. And when
Uh-huh.
I brought her around between Edward Scissorhands and Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar
Yes.
Children, both filmed here, even a little bit. And she was like, oh, like, it would have been so cool to work on that. I was
Yeah.
like, that's what I've been saying.
Yeah, or, like, a Florida project, like, that filmed, I think,
Oh, yeah, that one.
probably, like, right when I was getting into the industry, but
I
I'm like, dang,
know.
that would have
That
been
one's
such
so
a good
good.
one.
I usually ask in the rapid fire, so, like, stay tuned because we'll be doing that later. But, like, is there any film not made in Tampa or Florida that you're like, oh, I would give anything to go? Like, I'd use my one go
Man.
back in time for that.
There's one, I don't even know what the name of the film is called, but I had been offered to come in as like a location assistant for like just the second half of this movie, and it was like a big movie. I can't even remember. I think like Shia LaBeouf was in it, or like someone like
interesting.
actual.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no. And I had a random, because I shoot like videography things too. I had a random like real estate client in the middle that I could not move for the life of me, and I was like, I can't do it.
That's heartbreaking.
If I could go back in time,
literally,
I would have found any way to be there. But
heartbreaking. My last job was in educational TV, and they had on, and I think it was like 2 or 3 years before I had even like interned with them. They had Dan Myrick, who did Blair Witch Project, and they interviewed him on the show, and I was like, you got to be kidding me.
You got to be kidding me.
And then everyone after that was like a city councilman, and I was like, who? Like, can you bring Dan Myrick back?
No, for real. They were like filmed a 21 Pilots music video. I'm like, they would have.
Dude, I'm saying.
I'm like, I would have loved that. That's okay. It's fine.
We need to do a call for music videos made here because we like know very few. But one of my friends was in one of the Under Oath videos, and I was like, "Shut up! Oh, how'd you even find out about that?"
Literally, I'll see like random background casting things, and I'm always like, "What if I just sign up for that for once? Mix it up."
Literally. Okay, so. Is it set up for you in a way where like you find out about projects filming here and you have the connections where you can kind of call people up and go like, hey, like, do you need me? Because I saw like this.
Normally that happens in reverse actually. It's like I'll get a call and I'll have no idea what the job is. They're like, hey, are you available these dates? And then normally it's a couple days like before the project and they're like, oh, it's actually, a 21 Pilots music video. And you're like, oh, sick. This is actually cool.
Is that typical, like a quick turnaround like that for you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I feel like most recently too, a lot of the PAs were like hit up to do this one job for a reality show and none of us had any information on it. We get there and it was a reality show like following OnlyFans models and we were like, none of us really wanted to sign up for this actually.
You're like, actually, so don't include my name on that one.
No, it was fun though, but it was still just like, we were all like, oh.
Yeah.
Took us, like
maybe you want to tell us about that one next time.
I feel like normally the higher ups hear about the projects, ask you to be on it. You have no idea what it is. And then like a couple days before filming, you find out what it is.
Besides that OnlyFans story, is there, which is totally getting flagged on YouTube for me saying it. Is there anything else that situation has happened where you show up and you're like, so what are we filming? And it's been like Love in the Sun or whatever, Hallmark.
There's I feel like there was one in Miami too that my friend, the one that we could have been enemies but became friends, I was just trying to support her. It was her first time as a first AD job, but we didn't know anything about the project. We're reading the script on the drive up and we're like, what if we just turn around?
This is so bad.
And I was like, we're doing this because I want you to do well in film. Yeah, there's been times, but
we can do it. You can get through it.
It happens.
So do you enjoy going out? Because I was going to ask you earlier and I kind of got distracted, frankly. But because you're coming up from Sarasota so often, have there been times or projects or just specific days where you're like, I really don't want to do it. Like maybe I should move or like
Yeah, I've looked at houses in Tampa more than once. I'm like, what if I just move? What if I just move up there? But like my family's in Sarasota. I have a house there and like it's hard because there will be times too where I'm like trying to travel with production or like go to Miami, but I also have my cats and I love them.
That one's tough too.
Like, I want to just be home.
That one's tough too.
So even if the drive is like extra long or even if I do have a place to stay, sometimes I'm like, I'm just gonna go home.
So it's not really detrimental for you, like traveling with work, but maybe not preferred.
Yeah, it's I like traveling for work and it's almost like more fun too because I'm like, oh, I got to go to Miami for work, it's like fun, got put up. But like most of the time I just enjoy staying in town. Love the Tampa Bay film scene. Can't go wrong.
It's going really well right now. Well, if you'd like, I think we should do some rapid fire questions before we close this out.
All right, let's go.
All right. We are going to do rapid fire questions with Miss Chelsea Butz. Right off the dome, first thing that comes to mind, movie theater or streaming?
Theater.
TV or movies?
Movies.
TV or movies to work on?
Ooh. Movies.
Movies or commercials?
I have to say commercials to work on. I gotta go with commercials. I also love watching commercials. Sorry, no, this is rapid fire, but like a commercial will come on and I'm like, oh.
Do you ever watch cable in a hotel? Because you're like, I miss commercials.
Yes. Or if I see an ad, I'm like, I low-key dig this ad. Like, I want to know why they did it that way.
I've been watching YouTube and that one Chanel Terry bag ad.
Yes, I've seen that.
Oh my God. The one that's like, I do better when we do better. Oh wait, it's terrible.
I love ads. Okay, sorry. Commercial. Sticking with it.
Commercials. Okay. Film festivals or watching them at home?
Festivals. You got to get dressed up.
Opening night or closing night at a festival?
Oh, that's tough, actually. I'll go with opening night. The anticipation.
Favorite genre to watch? If you have
I'm
one.
gonna go like comedies. I just love a lighthearted thing, especially after working on some like hard movies. It's like I like a lighthearted
genre that if you could work on a movie in that genre tomorrow, you would.
One of those cheesy sci-fi horror movies.
Yes, like a B movie. On location or in a studio?
Location.
On location?
Yeah.
Favorite project you've worked on, final result, like movie you thought was the best?
What We Hide.
What We Hide was a good one.
I love it. My whole heart was in that.
What We Hide or Spider and Jesse? Its original title.
What We Hide's a better title, I will admit. Spider and Jesse is what's nearest and dearest to me.
I liked Spider and Jesse more, I gotta say. Most well-known celebrity you've ever worked with?
That's tough. That's tough because I have some favorites. Sorry, it's supposed to be rapid fire. Oscar from The Office.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
From School Duel.
Yes, from School Duel. John Cena Obs. Love him.
Love John Cena.
The lifeguard from season, 2 or 3 of Stranger Things, Billy.
Dacker Montgomery, who was so creepy in What We Hide with the makeup and the stuff.
McKenna Grace, who's just popped off.
Sweet.
She's in the Hunger Games now.
She's doing really well.
Oh, yeah, so many good ones.
Do you ever feel like a Tampa celebrity now is like, I have to like follow their career?
Yes,
because McKenna Grace is one of mine. Where I'm like,
yeah, she still follows me on Instagram right now, and I'm like, oh, baby.
Oh, I know. Yeah, Chandler Riggs.
Yes.
When he's here.
Yep, I just worked with him too. I was on that for days.
I don't know if we're supposed to say it.
What was the movie that they just filmed?
The
I can't even think of the name of it.
The Last Time.
Yes. I was just a PA for like 3 days.
That one was really interesting, and I'm excited to see that one because that one's got such a Tampa pirate Gaspar like through line.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Did you work that whole shoot?
I did not work that whole shoot. I only worked for a couple days on it because I had some other projects like awkwardly over the whole thing, but it was good.
All right. Movie that you have worked on that hasn't come out yet that you're excited about? If there are any.
Oh my God,
I don't know. Cut this out because at this point,
I feel like honestly a lot of them have come out because the Lifetime ones have such a fast turnaround, and that's all I worked on last year.
They really do.
Like, I'm like, oh my God, that's already.
I
know.
They put them out so fast.
They put Derby out in like a month and a half. Something because they won
the Hats Off.
Yes, Hats Off to Love. Whatever it's
called. I liked
Romance
now. At the Derby too.
Yeah, I was because they're like, oh, we want it out for like whatever the actual Kentucky Derby is, and we filmed it in January.
Like that was in January.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Lifetime or Hallmark?
I'm gonna go Hallmark. The budget's a little bigger.
All right. Well, we're kind of coming up to the end of this episode. If there's anything you'd like to promote yourself, your recent projects, Mala, anything, your camera's right there. Tell our audience, where can we find you online? How can we follow your career?
You can find me on Instagram. That's probably where I post the most and do the most things. It's just my name at Chelsea Butz, ChelseaButz. And then I did just start a YouTube channel as some other venture that I'm trying to do. So it's called This Great Life. I don't have that many subscribers, so you might have to try hard to find me there. But I'm really excited for just things coming up,
Exciting. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate you coming up. Yeah, it was really fun. I'm glad we got to talk. Especially because you're a below-the-line crew member that you usually don't get as much visibility. Yeah. And so it was exciting to hear about being UPM, second AD.
I'm excited where the career is, the path,
I know, this is exciting. You may be one of our youngest guests on the episode. So usually we have kind of a retrospective on someone's career when we talk to them. But this is kind of a fun opposite where we're like, the world is her oyster.
The world,
let's
so
see what
many
happens.
Possibilities. Who knows? By the time this episode comes out, it could be somewhere crazy.
Oh my God, she's famous. You didn't know that? Well, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it. And we will be right back. Ready?
Yes.
I'm going to do it like Tyler. And we're back. Sam. I feel like that was a pretty good interview.
Yeah, I love that episode. Very conversational.
Yeah.
Easy to talk to Chelsea, though, of course.
Chelsea's cool. She's worked on a lot of our, very Tampa movies, our Lifetimes, our Hallmarks. She's been working with Cameron. She re-emphasized what Cameron said about how those movies are a good starting point for our amateur filmmakers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really enjoyed that she was talking about her experience on set and how she's done a bunch of different things and that she's been able to just be like, oh, I can maybe move into this other position that I wouldn't have thought of. And early in my career, that's what I decided to do. Sometimes you get pushed into being a specialist, whereas being a generalist is sometimes more beneficial because you're like, oh, I would have never thought that I would really enjoy being in the office on a set but, you know, it ends up being your path. And you're like, oh, I'm actually really good at this.
Yeah. That's something that I just personally consistently think about because once upon a time, 18-year-old baby Birdie at UT as a film major realized that UT's film program was so small and that it was going to be a general degree. And I thought, oh no, like maybe I should try to go to LA and get like a specialized film degree. I'm so glad I didn't do that.
Right.
I don't think I would have gotten in, but I think that thank goodness for Tampa knowing what's up. I'm glad we talked to Chelsea. I'm glad that we had a conversation about being women in film and television, but I'm also glad that her stories were not all doom and gloom.
Yeah, I like that too. And I mean, my experience, you know, I'm in my 30s now, and from place to place, sometimes it's like, oh yeah, no, it has really been tough, but haven't really had that experience since I moved here. I feel like more often than not, people do want to nurture the people around them. And sometimes it's not as common to see women on set, but all the sets I walk onto, I'm like, oh, yep. You know, and I was on a set the other day and it's like the grip was a woman. The sound person was a woman.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's not as, I don't want to say taboo. It's not as uncommon anymore. And, you know, we've moved past that whole, in Tampa at least, we've moved past that whole like, oh, it's going to be harder for me.
Well, at least with our generation, right? Because that's the thing is that older generation that's still around, they're retiring and being replaced. And we've had such an uptick in young people living in Tampa that I've noticed this is my 10-year anniversary living here, 2026. So in that time, I've noticed the people that are around our age has skyrocketed. So luckily that's, you know, helping replenish our film industry. We're no longer stuck with these old ways, the old guard, like they say, right?
Yeah. And that's not to say that there's not more work to be done. And obviously our experiences don't reflect that of everybody.
Sure.
But at least in our community, I feel like, you know, especially we've got like women in film and television, we all get to know each other really well.
And it's definitely helped by the fact that women in film WIFT Tampa Bay has been so active in the last bunch of years. They are actually, well, this came out after the Gasparilla Film Festival. We're filming it before, but they just had a shorts block at GIF specifically for women in films, you know, submissions or whatever. So I feel like that's making a difference, but it's also, I think, luckily, like you're saying, the area, because it's a very relaxed. I know we say this all the time. Like I'm a broken record about it, but it's one of my favorite things to tout about this job and about the crew is that we have such a good laid back, calm, relaxed, like easygoing crew. But it sounds like it's the same thing where it's like Tampa has figured out how to make video production without screaming. And we're figuring out how to incorporate women without it being aggressive.
It's so funny because I was actually talking to Emily Zerter back on the last time I was on set with her and we were just chit-chatting. And she was just telling me about something that had gone wrong. And she's like, but you know what? I took a deep breath and thought, this is not something I have to lose sleep over. We're going to figure it out. And if I'm freaking out about it, then it's going to make it more difficult to figure that out. So if we just... there is no reason to be shouting. And I feel like for the most part when I'm on a set, it's like there is no reason to be shouting. So yeah, it's an exciting time to
be a woman in film.
I don't know where I was going with that. So we can
Chelsea said the same thing where she was saying that a lot of the projects she's working on are passion projects. People are excited about them, right? She worked on Curry Scent, which Cameron was excited about. I remember Krista was excited about. Krista Barini when they were making that at GIF a couple years ago or last year when it aired. Was that last year when it premiered?
I think so, because I think Nyla might have been working on that one too. She's always really passionate about the project she works on.
Yeah, and that's another good thing. And I was saying it in the interview, but just to reiterate, I feel like there are pockets of people that get along really well. They enjoy making stuff together, and so you get a lot of these passion projects, and it's not just, you know, business. It's collaborative and it's community based, which Tampa does really well.
But yeah, I mean, I feel that we've come a long way. And like I said before, there's still a long way to go, but I can at least confidently say that it's like, hey, where we are in our industry right now, things are moving in a good direction. And I'm like really happy with that, you know?
Well, luckily we're still at the beginning of our careers. Yeah. So it's good that we're starting here, you know, born at the right time.
And I feel what's good about it too is that we get to carry that on and, you know, continue to carry on with that precedent of carrying women up with us. It's just like what Chelsea said about being competitive. Like, that is definitely a thing where you feel like, oh, I must fight with this other person.
Yeah.
But when she was like, oh, no, I decided to make that person my friend, I'm like, yes, that is what we absolutely should all be doing.
Yeah. And I will say they are still close. And I know, like, there's no reason to keep it a secret, but, like, I know who she's talking about. She just shot her wedding. Like, they're lifelong friends. And this friend of hers has moved now across the country, and they're still lifelong friends. And that's what you can have if there's no competition.
Yeah, I love that.
Well, and it's also, like she said, and like we always say, it's an industry of favors and who you know. And so it makes zero sense to just start hating each other. Because it's like, why? Why are you burning that bridge?
Yeah, it's
For
like,
what reason?
oh, Birdie, I'm going to beef with you out of nowhere because...
You better not.
No.
You're going to need me one day.
I need you today.
I know.
No. But yeah, I get it.
But you're right. Luckily, we're in a time where things have changed. And like, thank you to all the people that made those changes, right? We still have some people in the industry, some older women who have been working their entire career, and we have them to thank for all that. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
To the wide. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. The person that believed in me the most was actually the hardest on me in this industry, and I would not have gotten to where I am today without her. Yeah. And at first I thought like, oh, this person doesn't like me very much, but then she's the one that called me over and over again, and I'm like, oh no, this is what tough love is. And it's just like, yeah, I very much am thankful for, the women and the people in my life in this industry who are like, oh, no, I care. Yes. And it's just like, I'm here today because of you,
Yeah. I have worked on majority female work teams now, 2 jobs in a row, this being my second one. Tyler has been the only man to work here besides some interns randomly. But I mean, even our first commissioner, Dale Gordon, is a woman. Don't let Dale fool you. But Dale Gordon. We have such a good base. The majority of the film festivals are run by women. If we went through it, we could start listing them out off the top of our head.
Hey, Tien,
who we just had on last month. Brandy Gold with the Jewish Film Festival. Iris Reyes with the Latin Film Festival. Monica with the Gasparilla Film Festival. It just keeps going on. So we don't have to worry about Tampa. Tampa's heading in a good direction.
Yeah, we just got to maintain that.
Yeah. It is a good place to work as a woman in film and television.
That's for sure.
Do you have a favorite female-led or female-produced film or TV show that's filmed here to wrap this out?
That's filmed here?
Yeah, we've got like Tampa Bay's, the reality show. Yeah, I really liked that one. Selling Tampa.
Just thinking about it because it's like so much is shot here recently.
I know. And Lady of the Manor.
Like also the Lifetimes that I've been on recently, the directors have all been women.
Yeah.
There was Haley Duff that we saw. Yeah, she was for Deadly Sign-In.
Murder Like It's 1999.
That's true. Yes. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure there was all the Lifetimes except for one were female directors.
Yeah.
When I went on the set visits. So, I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
I can't say I have a favorite, but it's consistent,
I liked Fear of Rain. I liked Fear of Rain in this conversation. Fear of Rain, the main protagonist, is a young woman. And a young woman. She's a young actress. I think that was her first project, or first or second. Eugenie Bondurant plays our villain in that movie. She's a woman. And then we have Katherine Heigl, whose character, not to spoil, I mean, this doesn't really spoil it, but her character is kind of pivotal, is that correct? To the entire storyline. So if I was going off of like my favorite female-led film, I think Fear of Rain's my favorite.
That's a good one.
Yeah. But we also have Selling Tampa and Tampa Bay's, which were really fun. Honestly, a lot. We are not lacking in female representation in Tampa.
No. And I think that's an interesting thing, too, is I was reading something in the trades, I don't know, it was like maybe a month ago, where it was talking about the trend of women directors actually has gone backwards.
Have you seen? I was just going to say that.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, that's so interesting that, at least in the movie sector, we've kind of gone against that trend. And I can't speak for commercials because that, I'd have to talk to Stacey Talley about that. She's primarily in the commercial world, but since that's not so much our realm, we don't know. Like things can be quite different in that realm. But yeah, I found it to be very interesting. It's like, oh, okay, like consistently in a lot of the films that we're seeing being made here, it seems to be beating that trend, which is really good.
Yeah, it is good. I was worried. I saw that same statistic a little while ago. And my first thought was like, oh, like they gave us an inch and it was like, oh, well, that's enough. Like, we're good. We gave you Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel and then the female Ghostbusters. You're good now, right?
Yeah, right.
We have to fight that feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
On a positive note, one of the producers for something that was mentioned a million times in this interview, Krista Barini with A Land Remembered. I think that's something that I'm really looking forward to because Krista's one of my favorites to watch. Everything she's done has been interesting. It's all been in Tampa. And now with Land Remembered, it's cool to see that such a huge budget, because it's got such a big budget, is going to be showrun.
Yeah, I think she might be the showrunner.
Showrunnered by a female producer. But that's what I'm looking forward to moving forward. To wrap out our Women's History Month episode, I'm looking forward to seeing what Krista does with such a big budget.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great. I can't wait to have them both on the podcast as well, at some point soon.
Speaking of loose framing, where can you find us?
You can find us on YouTube and anywhere else you can stream podcasts. And you can also follow us at Film Tampa Bay across the board.
Across the board. And just to test my memory, because it's Women's History Month, we encourage everybody to go back in time and watch last year's Women's History Month episode, March. That was Miss Elvia Hill. She's an actress here in Tampa in commercials and narrative projects. Before that, since you just mentioned her, Stacey Talley was our 2024 Women's History Month episode. And we've interviewed some really amazing women with really amazing careers in almost, every month since. So go ahead and go back through our loose framing episodes for Women's History Month. Learn more about the crew members that are here. Chelsea clearly is one of the, backbones of this industry. She's working in the office, which I know you kind of got your start in the office, would you say?
Yeah.
Locations?
Yeah.
And we were talking off camera that is like that unknown backbone that just your average movie lover doesn't really know exists. But they're there. They're the reason the film is working out.
Absolutely.
Well, Sam, thank you so much for joining us. Me on this episode of this is a nightmare when Tyler's not here. I don't know what to say. I think it'd be cheeky if we just leave it in. Sure. Okay. Yeah, it's Women's Month.
One last thing I'd like to say is I'd personally like to thank Elvia Hill for being the person who's actually the reason we do the rapid fire questions.
You're right.
That was her idea.
That was her idea. She loved us to the point of invention.
Oh, I know. Yeah. So that's going to be our last thing. Is that we're going to say, in honor of Women's History Month, we're going to say a big thank you to our guest from last year for being the inventor of our segment, Birdie's Rapid Fire Questions.
We love the rapid fire questions.
Yes, we do.
Only a clever, creative mind like Elvia's could have come up with that because that is so fun and lighthearted. And sometimes with Women's History Month, we get a little bogged down in all of the oppression. But really, we should be celebrating all the successes. So.
Yes, absolutely. So I guess we'll wrap that up.
Let's wrap it up before we start failing.
Yeah, we can't. We can't wait to see you next month for our next episode of Loose Framing Podcast.
Join us next time.